4 days ago, I think I met my long-lost sister. Growing up, I was told by my adoptive parents that I was adopted at 10 months old. They're always open about it. They framed up a picture of me and my parents and placed it in my room so I would always remember them. They even tracked down their grave and take me there once every 2 years. We'll have a little picnic and they will ask me to share my achievements with my biological parents. They didn't change my last name to theirs and allowed me to decide whether I want to change it, which I did in my teens. I am now 27, a nurse, and I live on my own with my cat, just a few hours away from my adoptive parents. I have a neighbor, let's call her Anna. She's a marine biologist, married, and has 3 kids. We often chat when we bump into each other in the hallway, or her kids will come over to my place to play with my cat. 4 days ago, I got a knock on my door, and it was Anna. Turns out her nanny went MIA on her at the last minute, and it was already late for a close friend's wedding, and was wondering if I can watch the kids for a couple of hours while they're gone. She asked me if I can watch them at her apartment instead, since her youngest is sleeping. I grabbed my stuff and went over next door. We played dolls, played pretend, and ordered food and watched a movie after that. So I told the kids to keep their toys before the food arrived, and while we were at it, I saw something that made my heart drop. I saw a picture of my parents. They looked so much younger, and it was a different picture from what I had. I asked Anna's kids if they knew who these people were. They told me that they had no idea who it was. My curiosity grew more and more. I texted my adoptive parents if they knew if I had any siblings. They told me that they were not too certain, but in the adoption profile, it stated that I'm alone and without any siblings. A few hours later, Anna got home. I was inquisitive to know, and I couldn't wait any longer. I asked Anna who this young couple was. Anna told me it was her parents, and they died when she was 6. She was then raised by her aunt. I was shocked. I feel like throwing up. This can't be real. I have a sister. I went home and did some social engineering. I went on Facebook and Instagram to see what I could find. I found the profile of an old lady I believe is the one that raised Anna. I see that she refers to Anna as her daughter, and I was looking at pictures, and I found a rather similar picture to what my adoptive parents gave me, just without me in it. I called my adoptive parents, crying, telling them what I found. They drove for hours to come to me when I showed them, and the 3 of us cried together. They told me that I should let her know. I don't know if I should because it seems like she doesn't know that I exist.
Wait! That's it? There's no more? We don't know if she tells her?
Am I the asshole for turning around and going home on my way to the airport for a girls' trip?
Honestly, never mind. U-turn.
I, 23 female, was supposed to go on a girls' weekend trip to Spain with my longtime friend of almost 10 years, 24 female, and her other female friend, 28 female, who I was excited to meet. We all live in Germany, but her and her friend live about 3.5 hours away from me, and I live closer to Frankfurt. They decided they wanted to drive through the night, about 10 hours, and arrive in the morning, and said that if I could meet them in their town, I could drive with them. I instead elected to just fly over and meet them there, since I live so close to the airport.
Smart gal.
The day before the trip, she texted me a link to book some tickets to a museum that her and her friend booked. She told me to book for 2 p.m., which is when they booked for. When I clicked the link, the only time slot available was 8:35 a.m. I pretty much was like, whatever, I will do something else while they are doing that. The night before the trip, I texted her asking how much I owed her for accommodations and whatever else we were splitting. This is the second time I've asked her since her friend was the one doing the bookings, and I just assumed I would send them my share when they told me how much it cost. She didn't answer, but I just assumed she was sleeping to prepare for the long drive. The morning of my flight, 3 hours before my flight leaves, she tells me that I had to book my own hotel room because they're having a guy friend come with them that they invited last minute. She sent me a link so I could book at the same hotel as them for that night, but all the rooms were fully booked. I searched around the area too, and all rooms were booked or very expensive. I really wanted to go, so I just kind of let it go and prepared myself to spend some extra money for a hotel room for myself in a different hotel. But on the way to the airport, I had a gut feeling that I wasn't going to enjoy myself, so I turned around and went home and sent her a text saying I was going to sit this one out because I was expecting a girls' trip. She's being short with me now and thinks I'm being unreasonable. Am I the asshole?
No, I would probably do the same thing.
I would 100% do the same thing.
That is a bait and switch.
This girl is giving you every inclination that she doesn't really want you there.
Yeah. She didn't think if I'm booking tickets to the Louvre or something, I'm buying your ticket too. I'm buying all of our tickets. You can Venmo me later, whatever. Why would you only buy 2 tickets or however many tickets they bought? spot and not think of your friend. You're like, that's inconsiderate. And then the whole, like, you're bringing a guy. I don't know this guy. And even if I did, this was a girl's trip. I signed up for a girl's trip. If I signed up for a trip with like all of you guys and I thought it was a girl's trip because I'm like the only single one right now, and then last minute you or like one of our other friends brings their boyfriend, as much, I love Justin, I love your guys' boyfriends, but I'd be like, this is not what I envisioned and what I signed up for. So like, love you guys, but like, I'll sit this one out. Depending on my mood, maybe I'd still come, but you reserve the right to change your mind.
I think most people know at this point that juice is just as bad for you as soda. I think if you see someone drinking a juice, you don't need to tell them that anymore. They know. They just like juice. You can let them enjoy their juice. And same thing with salad dressings. I don't need somebody telling me every time I put a full packet of salad dressing on my greens that it's just as bad as having a candy bar or a Snickers bar. No, it's not. You can't convince me that it's just as bad. Because first of all, Snickers bars aren't bad. They're delicious. But second, the only reason I'm eating a salad is because I know that if I eat the salad instead of the Snickers bar, I'll be able to poop the next day. I don't care how the greens get down. All I care about is knowing that they're going to come out faster than it takes Jeff Bezos to get a package to my house. And I know when people talk to me like this, they're just projecting their own problems onto me, but it's still inappropriate behavior, I think. I think that we should stop commenting on what anybody else is eating in general. I think the only time you should say something about what somebody else is eating is if you're saying, wow, that looks great. What's in that? How do you make that? I'll have what she's having. That's the only time we should be talking about other people's food. Otherwise, it's none of your business.
Am I wrong for telling my brother's ex what he's been doing during their break and destroying their relationship? Y'all, how do we feel about breaks? Do you feel like breaks are more of like a pause in the relationship until you're ready to get back right, but still basically dating? Or do you feel like it's literally altogether basically a breakup until you want to make back up? Personally, I think each situation is different, so let's go ahead and hear this one. So my younger brother, early 20s, and his now ex-girlfriend were on a break from each other for a few months now. The reason for this breakup between them, from what I've heard, is because my brother wanted to try the single life for a bit, but neither was going to talk to or date anyone. However, my brother took this break and went to see other people. A few dates from what I've heard, and the icing on the cake was that he was planning on moving in with this girl that he's never met in person. What? Even trying to convince us that this girl is amazing and great. I'm certain this would have happened if not for the fact that the mystery girl ended up ghosting him. Am I wrong for telling my brother's ex what he's been doing during their break and destroying their relationship? I'm certain this would have happened if not for the fact that this mystery girl ended up ghosting him. Well, now me and his ex are friends, and hearing all of this left a really bad taste in my mouth. His ex-girlfriend was waiting for him to come back and giving him till December. And of course, she stayed loyal to him the whole time, so I told her what he'd been up to. She's a good girl and didn't deserve to be lied to and oblivious. This ended with her calling and yelling at him and essentially causing this bridge to burn between them and fires going up between him and my family. And even with the ex and parents trying to put him out. So am I wrong for telling my brother's ex about his lying? Top comment says, oh boy, this is gonna get mixed reactions. There will be, you're wrong for not minding your business, and also not wrong for being a good friend. I do agree, and I can't wait to see the votes on this one. Oh, this one is Am I wrong for not wanting my autistic cousin at my child-free wedding? Next spring, I'm getting married to the love of my life, and we've decided we don't want children at our wedding. Now, many of our friends and family have young children, and the ones that do are fine with getting a sitter for the weekend. The only ones to put up a fight are my aunt and uncle who have a daughter with autism. She is 20 but will be 21 by the time my wedding day comes, and she's what they call high functioning. That means she can talk and wash and dress herself, and she does have some friends. She also graduated from high school a couple years ago and is currently living with her parents, my aunt and uncle, while working at a grocery store. Despite her being technically an adult, I just don't see her as such. Every time I talk to her at a family gathering, it feels like I'm talking to a child. She's also obsessed with toy ponies and Barbies and brings them up at every opportunity. Am I wrong for not wanting my autistic cousin at my child-free wedding? So even though she's 20, she loves ponies and Barbie dolls and talks about them constantly. She's also always drawing in her notebook and never makes eye contact when talking to me. I do want to mention that she's never had a loud meltdown, but I really don't want to risk her ruining my special day. So I told both my aunt and uncle that I don't want her there, and they became very upset. They're saying that she already saw the invite and knew it was child-free, but because she's an adult, she thought she was included. My aunt tried to guilt trip me by telling me she'd already picked out a dress and a gift, but I don't want to hear it. But my fiance is saying that I'm the one in the wrong and that there's no issue with her coming, as she's went to other weddings with no issue. The main point is that everyone is making me feel horrible for not treating her as an adult when she doesn't act like one. If I was the fiance, I would take a really long hard look in the mirror and decide if that's actually someone that you want to marry.